All right, you guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, whichever side of the screen that I have it on, as well as the bell, so that anytime any new content is uploaded, you will be the first to know about it, you guys. I have a very special guest with us today. His name is Jonas Kristensen, Reiki Master from Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark. And very exciting. We're going to get into Reiki for manifestation, for subliminals. We're going to dive into it. But Jonas, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lilah, for having me on your amazing show. It's such an honor to be here on your podcast. And I really hope that our discussion and talk will inspire and help some of your audience and let them know about the amazing secrets of Reiki and energy work to help them, for example, with manifestation. My name is Jonas Kristensen, as you talked about, and I'm a Reiki master and also an IET master instructor. And for those who don't know, IET stands for Integrated Energy Therapy, and it's very akin to Reiki, as it is an energy healing modality that you use to both heal and also use to help you, for example, with manifestation as well. And I'm from Denmark in Northern Europe. And I've been going on this spiritual journey for about 15 years now, and it just keeps getting better and better.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So if you don't mind, like just kind of taking us back a bit, 15 years back. So like, what sparked it? How did you get off into Reiki, into, healing practices?
Of course. So a lot of people might know me as Reiki Master Jonas Kristensen from YouTube, as I have a YouTube channel with that name. And I also have a YouTube channel called Divine Manifester and a channel called Hypno Guru. And I do both energy healing. I do mantra videos, also a bit of magic, if you wouldn't believe it. And I also do hypnosis and subliminal videos to help you in life, to help you manifest your dreams and alike. And my spiritual journey started in my early 20s, where I was just a young bloke who hadn't really had any interest or touch with religion or spirituality at all. And then all of a sudden, it was like just one day I was at work, where I worked on a ferry in a restaurant area where I was serving as a waiter in the VIP section. And all of a sudden I came up to this table where an older woman was sitting. And right when I got up to this table, she grabbed my arm and she told me that I was going to help a lot of people in my life. And at that time, I thought it was quite funny. And I thought that she might be a bit woo or something like that. But I started talking to her, and she was very convincing that she had some sort of intuition or clairvoyant ability.
Or something like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And she told me that she was from something called Organization of Light, where they do these light service meditations. And then from that day on, I sort of, it never left my mind, this experience with this old woman. And a couple of weeks later, I just found this book called I Am the Word, which is a book that awakens you to Christ consciousness. And I saw this guy online who talked about that he wasn't writing this book himself, he was channeling it. So it came through him. And it was written by higher entities, you could say, or higher dimensional beings called the guides, or they also call themselves for Melchizedek. And when I started reading this book, book
I'm sorry, really quickly. So when you say it was written by like the guides, was that like a channel, like download? Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. It's a channel text by, you could say, a higher level of consciousness, or higher dimensional beings, you could say. And from my experience, a lot of times when you read these books, you start tuning into this energy of the book. And this book specifically had, a cause to transform the reader of the book. and you did of your own free will certain energy activations that helped you awaken. But you have to remember, at that time I hadn't had any experience with this kind of stuff. So when I did these energy activations, it felt like something I've never felt before, and I was completely transformed. I remember lying in my bed and just energy just coursing through my body.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like my
You could feel
consciousness
it
was,
like on a physical
yeah,
level.
very, very tangibly. And it was like my consciousness was raising, and it just felt good at that time. I didn't have the words to describe it, but from what I know now, it was very obvious that it was like my frequency was raising up to a higher level, and it helped me elevate my consciousness to a higher level, which of course feels
And,
very nice, especially if you haven't tried it before.
wow. And so that was through some of the practices in the book that you were reading, like what it was. Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
cool. Very cool. And that was the beginnings of, like, you know, getting your feet wet into like Reiki practices, right?
Exactly. And actually, this book was the beginning of it all, because it was like I opened this portal to a new reality of who I was as a person and my identity. And it was like when I read this book, I just became passionate and interested in everything spiritual and alternative. And it was not only Reiki that I read about. Of course, I read a lot of healing books, but I just read everything spiritual. And I was very interested in yoga, mantras, meditation, and healing, of course, and astrology, and other approaches to the spiritual life as well. So I really had this time for myself where I just studied and studied. I remember one year I read 64 books,
Wow.
and my head was
What are you, a
just
Virgo?
filled with this
Are you a
stuff.
Virgo? I'm just curious.
No, I'm actually a Cancer sun sign, and that's why
Oh,
I
okay.
sense a lot of stuff,
Nice.
feeling wise, and I feel that I'm some a sort of an empath, I guess.
That is
Um,
fantastic. No, that is
yeah,
fantastic. I'm just curious. I know sometimes like Mercury, right, Virgo,
yeah,
Gemini, like they're really, heavy. But no, that is fantastic. Wow. So you really you went in on it. Now I'm just
yeah.
curious. Now prior to like that, seed, I guess you could say, that was planted by the older woman. Before that, I mean, you could only say that like the soil has to be right, for the,
Mm.
for the seed to take root. Prior to that, would you say you were already curious about like a lot of spiritual practices, or like did you come from like a spiritual family or religion? Like, what was it like prior to? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, because I was actually not interested in it at all. And I remember I was always very scientific in my mindset, and
Okay.
very schooled in a Western sense. So I was just a completely normal guy, very interested in girls and sport and what have you. And I didn't really read a lot of books at that time either. So this
Okay.
was just like I pop like a popcorn and just awaken to this new identity of myself. And I believe this is what you could describe as this book awakening me to Christ consciousness, which is just like an analogy or a synonym for the divine within me that was sort of awakened. And then I really became more and more opened up to these energies and to my divine self, which just guided me on this path, and has guided me ever since I started. And that, of course, led me into healing as well, and energy healing, which
That
I'm
is
really passionate about right now.
that is really awesome. And then like, so at the very like very basic, right? Lamest terms for a lot of us that aren't aware of like what Reiki is, and to be perfectly honest, like myself, like I'm not really like schooled on it. What would you say at like the very like basics? What is Reiki?
It's a great question. The very basics of Reiki is actually energy. And Reiki, you could say, is universal life force energy. Some call it chi, some call it prana. And it's something that's filling us all, and it's all around us, in the air, in animals, in plants. And what you learn as a Reiki master or Reiki healer is that you learn to channel this universal life force through your channel, and then out through your hands in the beginning to heal other people and to heal yourself as well. And as you come along on this path of Reiki, you develop more and more of your being, body, and energy system becomes a channel. And in the end, at least for me, I feel like my whole body has become like a channel for energy. And as you can see on my YouTube channels as well, this energy is not only local in the sense that you have to put your hands on somebody to heal them or to heal their chakras and what have you, but it's also non-local, so it can work remotely. And that's why I focus a lot on doing these remote sessions and sharing them on YouTube, because then I can heal and help thousands of people at the same time, because the same Reiki session can reach thousands of people simultaneously and on many different places on the earth at the same time. So it's quite profound to think about when you haven't had any experience with it before.
That is awesome. So it's something that like the you don't actually have to place your hands on someone, but just that emitting that frequency can be felt. That is really, really awesome. Very cool. And how would you say, what's the best way to integrate that when it comes to manifestation? Like what's the bridge, I guess you could say, between like being able to manifest and Reiki practices? I'm
so glad you asked that, because that's something that I've become very passionate about with Reiki, and also about sharing this message, because a lot of people and most people associate Reiki with simply healing and simply healing hands and healing yourself, which is incredible in and of itself. But what I've come to understand is that everything is energy. And when you use Reiki with a specific intention, you can use Reiki as a tool to manifest, I would say, almost whatever you want. And Reiki can sound magical and miraculous in a way that people really want that snap of the finger kind of result, where something just magically appears. And that can happen sometimes, but Reiki abides, at least in this world, to the physical laws of being gradual. So you have to work with a specific energy a lot of times daily if you want to manifest something big. And that could be, of course, manifest healing within your body or in your mind or emotions, or manifest something like success or attracting the perfect partner, or manifesting more money, or whatever you could set your mind to. And that's what I'm trying to create on my channel, is Reiki for almost whatever you could imagine. So a lot of times I take, you could say, suggestions from my viewers to make a certain video to help them with a specific issue. And that can be both in the healing realm or in the manifestation realm as well.
Nice. Now, when you say work with a specific energy, like daily, now do you mean like, I'm just trying to like put it in a way, also so that I understand as well as like others, is that like with the chakra system where we're, like work with a specific chakra, like daily, when you say like work with a specific energy, is that what you mean to?
You could do that, but again, it depends on what you want to manifest. And if you want to develop, for example, your solar plexus chakra, I have a video specifically for healing, strengthening, and empowering your solar plexus chakra. And then you use this video for this specific purpose. And when you press play on this video, I'm actually sitting in this video healing you and whoever watches this video. And you have to remember that Reiki follows intention. So when I set the intention as a Reiki master to heal whoever views this video, this is what happens when people press play. And some people will feel it immediately because they might be very empathetic like me, or very sensitive to energy. And other people might not feel it so tangibly because they might be newcomers or they haven't had that much experience with Reiki. But my advice is just to, if you're new to this, pick one video and then use it for at least 30 days and use it every single day. Because if you don't feel the energy that tangibly, at least you will feel the manifestation of the results. And for example, if you focus on your solar plexus chakra every single day, you will start feeling more powerful, more stable, and more in alignment with your own personal will, and just feeling like you're more grounded in yourself as an individual and as a personal, powerful person, and also your ability to manifest yourself in a powerful way in the world. And then if you, again, it's maybe hard to understand, but chakras is one focus, but you can also use videos, for example, Reiki for manifesting success, or Reiki for becoming stronger physically. And like I said, Reiki follows intention. So my experience is that when you do this Reiki session and you set a specific intention to, for example, manifest success, this is actually what happens when you use this video over and over and over again. So it becomes like you could say almost a magical manifestation tool where you only have to be receptive. You don't have to do anything other than play the video every single day. But then when you play the video, I also, of course, recommend that you take action towards what you're trying to manifest. So if you're trying to manifest success in a specific way, of course you have to go and do the work as well, because Reiki, in my opinion, is like this subtle energy tool that is like wind in the sails. So you still have to be, you could say, the captain of your ship and steer it towards the destination where you want to go. But Reiki can be the wind in the sails that will help you get to the destination much more effectively and much faster than you could ever do without Reiki, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Now, question. So with it being, like online with Reiki, is that something that someone could potentially have on like a headset on, or earbuds in and like move about, or is it better to actually like look at the screen or close? Is there any like special, could it be playing in the background while they're like, let's just say doing housework, or is it something that's better to like sit and really devote a moment to like look at the screen or close their eyes? Or
yeah, I love that question, because it's something that people have been asking me since the dawn of time in the comment section. How do they use these videos? And I really try to describe it in every video in the description. And I recommend for people starting off that they, of course, sit and become as receptive as possible, because then you can really feel the energy and you get that experience of actually receiving something that's transforming you in a way. But essentially, you don't have to do anything but have the video play. So you don't need the music, you don't need to look at the background or the video in and of itself. When you play this video, you will be receiving the energy. So you could actually stay in the shower, taking a bath, or you could be vacuuming your house, or even walking the dog, and then playing this Reiki for yourself, and then you'll receive the benefits. But again, I don't recommend that you play Reiki like 24 hours a day. You also have to integrate the energy as well. And
yeah, that was going to be my next question. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I was just curious how often, right? I know you say like for 30 days. Is that like twice a day, or once daily, or before bedtime? Is there any like special, like preferred, I guess we could say, right? Because like you say, you could be walking the dog, you could be doing housework, but like, is it like a preferred? Like I know sometimes with manifestation, and we, talk about like visualization and things like that, before falling asleep or first thing in the morning is preferred. Is there any like specific preferred time that is best for Reiki?
I actually give the advice that it's up to the individual to feel out the process for themselves, because Reiki works very individually, and some people can have like blockages removed and they can feel the energy very tangibly. They might be very sensitive, so they shouldn't use Reiki that much in the beginning, because they also have to take it slow so they don't become overwhelmed. And I always recommend, if you start feeling fuzzy or feeling uncomfortable, then just take a break. No worries, because you can also become very obsessed with manifesting what you're trying to manifest. But really, I use this Reiki energy several hours a day. So you can use it for many hours if that's what you want to. But I also leave some time for integration. But you can really have these videos play for 3, 4, or 5 hours with no worries. But again, of course, it depends on the individual, and you have to pace it yourself and feel out the process for yourself. And then another thing that I want to say is that using this for manifestation is using the universal life force or the energy available to us in a way that is self-serving. So it's something that helps yourself, which is amazing, and everybody deserves to manifest their dreams. But I also recommend that you use it in a non-selfish way or in a service to others way. And the way that I do this is that I play Reiki for healing planet Earth, or for example, healing humanity every single day. So you actually send out Reiki to heal planet Earth and to make the Earth a better place. And in that way, you sort of balance the scales, and you use both the Reiki energy for something selfless and selfish, you could say, or something self-serving.
Nice, like that balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good, awesome. And two, with subliminals, right? To kind of bridge it over to subliminals, is that something that you would suggest, like, in addition to like the Reiki practice and manifestation, or what are your thoughts, or how is subliminals contributing to like really being able to manifest? Would you say?
Yeah, I definitely recommend subliminals, and that's also why I've made both the Reiki Master channel, Reiki Master Jonas Kristensen, and also the Hypno Guru channel. And on the Hypno Guru channel, I have made subliminals with a combination of Reiki. So, for example, I have made a video for healing your body, which contains subliminals for healing the body and different subtle messages that will help your subconscious make your body regenerate, heal, and repair itself. And then in the same video, it's underlined with Reiki for healing the body as well. So you both use Reiki as an energy healing tool and your subconscious mind to heal your body as well. So in these videos, you get like a double whammy. So you program your subconscious mind, and you also use energy healing to get the results that you want. So it can be very, very powerful.
That is fantastic. Yeah, and I'm also, you guys, I'm going to make sure that I leave the links in the description box as well, so you guys are able to find Jonas as well here on YouTube and all of those links. This was a question that I did have. I'm just curious. Obviously, you are a Reiki master, and from what I've seen, right, Reiki is something that other people like perform over you. Is Reiki something also that like people could learn to use on themselves, or is it better when there is like someone like yourself, a master at it, to really for like effectiveness?
Yeah, of course. Everybody can actually take a Reiki course, and I believe the Reiki is almost available in every single country in the world. And if you're really interested in becoming a healer, I definitely recommend that you try it out, because it's a great way to start your spiritual journey, because you can use Reiki both as a healing tool, but also a tool for spiritual development. And Reiki was not actually the beginning for me of my spiritual journey, but it's been a very powerful tool for me to develop myself spiritually. And when you get more interested in Reiki and you go and get your first initiation as a Reiki healer from me or from another Reiki master in the world, then in the first level of Reiki, you learn specifically to heal yourself. So you get the first Reiki initiation, which opens the higher chakras and makes you able to channel Reiki through the crown and out through the heart and out through your hands. And then you have this channel of energy where the energy flows, and then you can start placing your hands on yourself, for example, on the body or on the chakras system in your body. And then you start feeling this energy just flowing and reinvigorating your body. And it feels amazing and very profound if you haven't had this experience before. And then you go, if you become more interested in leveling up, you can take the higher initiations of Reiki as well, where you learn these principles of using Reiki in a distance manner, where you can heal people at a distance, and you learn also at the Reiki master level to initiate others to become healers as well. And Reiki is only one healing modality in the world, and there are many different kinds of energy healing modalities. Like I talked about, I'm also an IET professional, which is another energy healing modality. This energy healing modality works more with something you can call the violet flame energy or the violet ray energy. And in my experience, it's a bit of a higher frequency of healing energy, but it's just as transformative as Reiki. And actually, my beginning with energy healing was actually using pranic healing, which is something created by Master Jonas Kristensen from the Philippines. And if people
So like breath work, like
prana, actually, it's working with prana, and like I said, if you're energy sensitive, you can feel a subtle difference between, for example, pranic healing, Reiki healing, and, for example, IET healing. But a lot of people use these energy terms interchangeably. So people say that Reiki is synonymous with prana or pranic healing as well, but they are different modalities. But in the sense, they do the same thing fundamentally, but there are different teachings in each modality. And if people want to try energy healing with zero costs, I recommend finding something called the Twin Hearts meditation on YouTube, which is a meditation developed by Master Jonas Kristensen, where you do exactly like you do in Reiki. You channel prana through the crown chakra, out through the heart, and out through your hands. And then you use this energy to heal Mother Earth, to heal your family and your friends, and also to heal yourself. And you can actually do this meditation on YouTube for free. And it's a great way to start and have your first experience without it costing any money. And then you can utilize this principle of serving others as well if you do this Twin Hearts meditation, because this meditation is a meditation where you primarily heal others than yourself. So you heal planet Earth, which can give you a quite profound spiritual experiences. And my first experience with pranic healing was something that I'll never forget, because I started doing this meditation very early on. And then after doing it for a couple of weeks, because it just felt so good, I had what you would call a Kundalini awakening, which is like a bioenergy which is latent for every person on Earth. It lies within the root chakra. And then when this energy is awakened, it rises up through the spine of your body and cleanses all the chakras until it comes out eventually of the crown chakra. And when I did this meditation in the beginning, it came out through my heart, and I had this unity experience where I just felt like at one with all beings on Earth, and I felt at one with the plant life and all the animals, and I just sat there crying like a little baby, because it just was such a profound experience. So you can really...
How long did that last for? Because I mean, I don't know if it's something that's common or not, but I know I have experienced, but I mean, it's fleeting. I'll have a, maybe it might last like 1 to 3 minutes or something like that, where, maybe I have different like regular, like worldly concerns. I'm worried about this, worried about that. And then I'll just have this fleeting moment of like, all is well, everything's okay, everything is great. Wow. Look, how long, I'm just curious, how long did yours like last for?
Yeah, of course. That Kundalini experience specifically was the most intense part was in the meditation itself. So it was like during 15 minutes. And I believe when you really have your heart chakra opened, you just really have the experience of what the heart chakra entails. And that is really compassion and love and unity, and care for other beings, and connection with other beings as well. And then when I was done with this meditation, I felt like I was on ecstasy all throughout the night, for several hours. And I was just like in a very fanatic state. I was quite young at that point, so I just went around praying because it was such an overwhelming experience. And I really felt like, connection to the divine, or God, you could say, in a way I've never felt before. Because you have to remember, at that point in time, I've lived for 20 years of my life, and I've never even knew that anything like that existed. And all of a sudden I start having these incredible spiritual experiences, which just heals me in ways that I never knew was possible, and just made me feel incredible elation and elevated states of consciousness. So at that point in time, I thought that life was never going to be the same, and I was going to move to an island and sit there and meditate until I achieved moksha. So, yeah.
Wow. So you had some really profound experiences, obviously, that has led you and kept you on the pathway to like spiritual healing, and like that is very, very cool. Now, I'm curious. Now, like I said, I don't know a lot about Reiki. There are some that I have seen that do use like crystals and things like that. Is it, what would you suggest, like for maybe like beginners that are like getting off into it, or like, does it matter if you're using like tools, or is it better like with just the hands? Or
again, I think it's very individual, but I recommend also in the beginning follow the theory of Reiki and the teachings of Reiki, and then later on you can start branching out and experimenting and using your intuition, which is the basics of learning anything, in my opinion. Stick to the basics and really learn the fundamentals before you start implementing all different kinds of tools. And also start with healing yourself and getting comfortable with the energy before you start practicing remote Reiki. So if you have this very chronological approach, which is recommended in Reiki, you'll be better off, in my opinion, because a lot of people want to start with the most advanced approach from the very beginning, and that's not the way to go. Because when you learn anything new, consistency is key, and really staying true to the teachings, and having, in my opinion, a very practical approach. Because a lot of people also want to talk about spirituality. They want to talk about religion and what's the truth and whatnot. What I recommend is using practical tools to develop yourself and to serve other people. And then you'll really start, reaping the rewards of these spiritual systems, especially if you focus on helping others. Then you start reaping the karmic rewards of blessing other people and blessing the world, and being a servant to humanity. And I believe that in the beginning, of course, it's very essential to focus on yourself and to focus on bettering yourself. But eventually, everybody on the spiritual path will come to a point where they start to focus on serving others. So that's very important as well.
very good. Awesome. And is that like your ultimate goal? What would you say is like your ultimate, goal with Reiki, with the subliminals, with the mantras, for mankind?
Yeah, great question, because I always felt, ever since I had this experience with the old woman that I talked about, that I felt this was just destiny awakening me to this new path in life. And I've felt like, you could say, reality became much more malleable, but reality also started, showing me who I was supposed to be and what my destiny was. And I've been very inspired by the teachings of Alice Bailey, who is one of the greatest writers of theosophy. And for the audience who doesn't know theosophy, it means theos is divine, and Sophia means wisdom, which makes divine wisdom, so theosophy. And this teaching is very focused on serving humanity and being of service to others, and also focused on the ascension pathway. So when you awaken as a human being, you start having these lower initiatory experiences where you start, of course, focusing on developing yourself, and then you ascend this ladder of initiation and you start serving others, and eventually you become, you could say, an ascended master serving on planet Earth. And my goal here on Earth is just to be as much of service to the divine as I can, and of course staying humble in the process. And I believe right now, at least, YouTube is an incredible tool to reach a lot of people and to help a lot of people. And the feedback that I get of love and gratitude is just beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm so grateful to be on this journey of healing and sharing healing with the world. And just to give you a funny number that kind of motivates me sometimes, when you look at the statistics of my healing channel, for example, just one of my healing channels, I've healed for more hours and years than I've been alive right now on YouTube. So
that's really impressive. That is
exactly.
Wow.
And that's why I feel like this is just like on another level. If I could keep doing this and I can really have this thing explode in a very positive way, then I could just reach so many people, and the healing and Reiki that is transmitted through me as a humble channel will just reach millions of people in my lifetime. So
it's awesome. And I do see that you are spread out, like you have it in different like languages and all across the board there. Wow. Now, would you say like there is it more popular, would you say, like in the States or abroad, or where you're at, or, you know, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. The States is very interested in healing. And I don't know if it's, you know, the New Age movement is more powerful over there, maybe, or they're more akin to spiritual teachings. At least I think I know a lot about the Danish people. And the Danish people, it's very okay and normal to be interested in spiritual stuff, but it's not that mainstream as it is in the US. But also India is very interested in Reiki healing and spirituality as well. And also definitely one of my other channels, which is focused on mantra chanting, which is also very normal and regular in the Indian society and Indian culture, and that's also one of my big loves, chanting mantras as well.
Yeah, I would say I actually have a large subscriber base, you know, from India, which I was like, wow, okay. I wasn't sure if it's because my name is Lilah. A lot of people say it's, you know, Lilah, but it's my name is Arabic. So the I is pronounced like an E, like Ali. So it's really Lilah. Okay. But I'm like, at first I didn't know if it was because, you know, but yeah, you're saying you also have a large base as well. India. Okay. Wow, that is very cool. Very awesome. Your thoughts on like affirmations or like visualization in combination with what you've already, you know, your content that you're putting out, you know, to the masses, your practices and methods and things.
Yeah, I use affirmations myself, and also prayer is a very powerful tool, in my opinion. And you can do combinations of various different things. But also, I recommend, you know, learning how to use one thing effectively, and really. A thought that I've always had is that my life is sort of a scientific experiment in a way, and I can use these tools to learn how I can affect my reality in the way that I want to affect my reality, and how I can manifest what I want. And during the years, I've created this recipe, you could say, of how I manifest in the best way. And for me, it's been prayer and affirmations, and using Reiki, and you can also use Subliminals with Reiki as well.
It's like a combination of them all, right?
Yeah. If you put these things together and you focus on the same thing, you don't scatter your focus too much, but you hone in on what you want, laser focused, then you can really start getting some incredible results, and getting results where you just like almost jaw-dropping experiences, where it's just like, oh my God, this is like I did some Harry Potter magic stuff, because you just get exactly what you want, and get these kind of experiences that you push the same button over and over and over and over again, and then all of a sudden you get exactly what you want. And that's what also gives you more motivation and drive to keep going, because you start understanding how you're really in control of this incredible thing called reality, and how powerful you are as a manifester as well.
I would really have to agree with that. Like for me personally, like I would say life in general has been like kind of like an onion, right? With the different layers. Like just when I think that I have things figured out and this is the way things go, that layer comes off and I'm like, whoa. And but in a way I like it that way, right? Where you stay humble. And I just realized like the older that I get, I realize like I don't know as much as I thought I knew. And I like kind of being in that position, because and I think anytime you get in that position where you feel like you have it all figured out, then you probably need to like go back to scratch, because it's a continuous evolution, I think, right?
Definitely.
Thank you. Well, it has definitely been an honor to have you on my show, my very first guest, and Reiki Master Jonas Kristensen. You guys definitely do check out his channel. Like I say, I am going to leave links down below. Hopefully, have you on again sometime in the future. Really appreciate it. Any last thoughts, or we're good, or?
No, thank you so much, Lilah. It was a great experience, and you did an incredible job. And I just want to thank your audience for listening and taking the time to maybe use some of the advice that we've shared. And I want to welcome you to check out my channels. And like I said, if you have any questions, or if you want me to make a specific video, or you need any advice, I'm always here to help you. And to conclude, I just want to bless you, Lilah, and I want to bless your audience. And I just, with great gratitude, say namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. I said namaste. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jonas. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.